Come on.
What's up everybody, I'm Brian. Welcome back to Night Owl Photography. And today we're going to talk about camera basics. So you can think of it like playing games. Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you are. Xbox. Better be Xbox. I want my subscribers to play Xbox. I'm just joking. I like PlayStation too. But controllers are awesome. But if you don't have an Xbox or TV, monitor, you ain't playing your game. If you got a controller and an Xbox but no monitor or TV, you still ain't playing your game. If you have all three, you get to play your game and you get some victories. Unlike me, I don't get victories. So when you think of camera basics, we gotta start from the very beginning. And in the very beginning, when you're learning manual mode, we want to talk about three important settings on your camera. Your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed. Now, these three things work just like your gaming system. I'm telling you right now, it better be an Xbox off. Now, if you got all three, that is the perfect recipe. Okay, so we want to think of it as a triangle. We got your ISO up here, you got your aperture down here, and you got your shutter speed over here. Now, when you mess with one, it affects the other one. So we want to also think of it as gears. You got gear here, and a gear over here, and you got a belt that connects to those gears. Now let's say your ISO you have set at say 600, you have your aperture at 2.8, and you have your shutter speed, let's say, at 250. That will give you the exposure that you need. Well, say you want to change your aperture, your focal length to 5.6, you now are going to have to compensate because now you're closing your lens up, which is going to allow less light. So now that gear is going to move, click, 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 and this now is going to say you're going to have to jump this up to 800 or even 1200, and you might have to adjust your shutter speed down to 150 to keep that exposure right. So when you mess with one, you're going to have to mess with the other ones to keep your exposure perfect. And this is what we call the exposure, got my S in there, triangle. They all work together. So you just got to keep that in mind. So when we talk about the exposure triangle, I'll go more in depth of your settings. So think of your aperture as a garage door. Now this is your lens. So as that garage door is opening, you're letting in that much more light. That lower number of your aperture, the garage door is all the way open. You're at 1.2, 1.4, 2.8, depends on your lens. But you have that all the way open, the more light that's gonna come into the garage and light that whole garage up. Now, as you crank that number up to 5.6, 10, 8, 22, whatever, that garage door is closing down. 22, you're barely letting any light in. The aperture is going to control the light that's coming into your lens. Now with your lower aperture, you're going to have a nicer portrait photo. You're going to have your subject in focus, but your foreground and your background are going to be blurry. You're going to have that bokeh. It's going to be a portrait photo. It's going to be beautiful. Now as you close that aperture up to 22, let's say f-stop 22. Let's just say f-stop 22 because that's what I used for the example photo. Everything's clear. Everything's in focus. Boom. Landscape photo. Just remember your aperture, your focal length, the lower the number, the more light comes in, higher the number, the less light that comes in. So keep that in mind. Now your shutter speed, yes sir. So your shutter speed determines how fast your shutter closes. Let's say you have your shutter speed set at 1/60. That shutter is open for a longer period of time, which will allow more light to pass through. It'll allow movement to go through the photo, and then it'll close. Now, if you have your shutter speed at 1/250, it's opening and closing real quick. It's going, and that's gonna stop the movement quicker. It's gonna freeze it. So the higher the number is for your shutter speed, the quicker your shutter is gonna open and close and allow to freeze that photo instantly. The lower the shutter number is, the longer that shutter is gonna be open, and the more movement will be allowed to pass through, aka light, which will allow motion blur through the photo. Now the ISO represents the sensor's sensitivity to light, which pretty much means the more you crank that ISO, the brighter your photo gets. So higher the number, brighter the photo, lower the number, darker the photo, which is cool because you crank that number, the brighter the photo, right? Cool, awesome. Wrong. The higher the number, the more noise and grain will be introduced into the photo. So if you're like at 64,000, it's gonna be grainy unless you got an FX3. I don't know how Sony does it, but that FX3, it's like night vision. It's insane. Anyways, just be careful with the grain. A lot of cameras now have dual base ISO, so that's pretty cool. Like my FX30 here. Never mind, I'm getting off subject. So with the ISO, higher the number, brighter the image, lower the number, darker the image. These three settings, they work together. They're interconnected. They work like gears, like I was saying. Now, these three settings are the first ones that you need to learn about when shooting in manual mode. So that's all I got today. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to do a whole series on camera basics, and as we go through, I hope that more people will learn more stuff, because obviously we're all at different levels of photography, videography even. I just wanted to start from the beginning, and what's better than starting with camera basics, learning the very first steps to jumping into photography. I'm not going to pump them out one after another, but throughout this year I'm going to make videos explaining camera basics, hoping that you guys will learn something and get better. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm going to try this again.